Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling. Tonight's story is the kind that makes your chest tighten before you even realize you're holding your breath. Just after midnight, a quiet hospital corridor turned into a race against time, and one of the most private moments in young Mei Mei's life suddenly became public. Sources say she was rushed into the emergency room unconscious, while Yulong arrived right behind her, shaken, pale, and trying not to fall apart in front of strangers. But what happened next, the doctor's update, the surprise revelation, and Yulong's reaction, has left fans around the world stunned, emotional, and asking one urgent question. How close did this come to becoming a tragedy? Stay with me because the full timeline is even more intense than the headlines suggest. Just before midnight, the hospital becomes a different world. Corridors that usually feel routine suddenly turn sharp and urgent, as if the building itself has to hold its breath. Reports describe Heisei Central Hospital's emergency unit shifting into that rare, charged silence where every footstep matters. A stretcher moves fast through the hallway, guided by doctors and nurses whose voices carry clipped focus rather than panic. On the gurney lies Mei Mei, unresponsive, breathing too lightly for comfort, her body slack with exhaustion. It is the kind of scene that makes strangers instinctively step aside, not out of curiosity, but out of respect for the fragility in front of them. What strikes people most is not only the speed of the medical team, but the sense that this moment arrived without warning. One minute there is a normal night somewhere in the city, the next a young woman is fighting to stay conscious. In stories like this, midnight is never just a time of day. It symbolizes how quickly life can tilt, how a quiet home can become an emergency, and how the ordinary can fracture into something frighteningly real. Behind the stretcher walks Yulong, but not as the public knows him. Witnesses say his face is drained of color, his movements unsteady, like a man trying to keep his body from collapsing into fear. His eyes look raw, as if he has already cried and then forced himself to stop. There is a particular kind of terror that comes from not knowing what is happening inside the person you love, and you can see it in the way he clenches and unclenches his hands, in the way he leans forward without realizing he's doing it. Then the ER doors close. The medical team disappears into a restricted area, and he is asked to wait outside. That separation is its own shock. People often assume fame protects you from helplessness, but it does the opposite here. It strips away every illusion of control. He sits down, still as stone, staring at the doors like they are the only thing holding his world together. Time becomes cruelly elastic. Each minute is a question with no answer yet. In that waiting room, he is not a star, not a headline, just a husband facing the possibility of loss. The next wave of tension doesn't come from medicine, but from the outside world. Someone leaks the emergency, and reporters arrive quickly, drawn by the gravity of a name and the hunger of public attention. Cameras turn a hospital corridor into an arena. Microphones rise. Questions fly. What happened? How serious is it? Is she pregnant? Was she alone? The loudness of it feels almost obscene beside the private terror unfolding behind those doors. Yulong's silence at first is not evasive, it is survival. He appears unable to process anything beyond the fact that Mei Mei is inside, and he is not. But the pressure mounts. In a digital age, a vacuum of truth fills instantly with rumor. He understands that if he says nothing, strangers will invent a story before her family hears the real one. And if she wakes to a storm online, that shock may harm her recovery. So his choice to speak is not a media move. It is a protective move. The human cost of public life is visible here. Even at the edge of fear, you must manage the narrative to keep the people you love safe. When Yulong finally talks, he doesn't perform. He recounts a simple, frightening sequence. He came home around 10:30 p.m. after filming. The flat was quiet. Mei Mei didn't answer when he called out. That ordinary silence turned ominous quickly. In the living room, he found her on the floor, unconscious, barely breathing, her pulse faint. The details matter because they show how sudden this was. There was no gradual build, no warning scene. It was a collapse you discover mid-sentence, mid-life. His reaction is the instinct of someone who loves without hesitation. He calls emergency services immediately and carries her downstairs himself, not waiting for anything except the chance to save her. Then comes the truth that reshapes everything. When asked about the pregnancy rumors, he confirms she is a little over 3 months pregnant. The corridor reportedly goes still. For the public, it is a shock. For him, it explains the depth of his fear. A pregnancy is a private joy, but also a physical strain that no camera sees. In that moment, the emergency is no longer about one life. It is about 2 fragile heartbeats tied together. After what feels like hours, a doctor steps out. Yulong rises so quickly his chair scrapes the floor. A small sound that carries the weight of everything he has been holding in his chest. The doctor speaks calmly, almost deliberately, as if guiding him back to the ground. Maymei is stable now. She fainted due to extreme fatigue, dehydration, and a dangerous drop in blood pressure. Her body was under too much strain, but she arrived in time. That phrase, in time, is the hinge of the whole night. Yulong's immediate question is the one any partner in his position would ask. And the baby? The doctor's reassurance that the heartbeat is steady and the risk has passed is not just medical news. It is a door opening in his mind. Witnesses say his eyes fill instantly. Not theatrically, but in that involuntary way people cry when tension finally loosens its grip. Relief can look like grief for a second because both come from love. There is also humility in his reaction, gratitude for the doctor, for the timing, for the thin line between tragedy and survival. It is a moment that reminds viewers how fragile joy can be, and how quickly it must be protected. This story spreads so widely because it is not built on spectacle. It is built on something universal. Across cultures, whether you're watching in Los Angeles, Seoul, Tokyo, Sydney, Paris, Toronto, or anywhere else, the core feeling is recognizable. A loved one collapses. You race to a hospital. You wait outside doors that won't open fast enough. Your mind turns into a loop of prayers and worst-case futures. Fame, language, and nationality do not change what that corridor feels like. The added layer of pregnancy deepens the resonance. Many viewers know the quiet weight a pregnancy carries. Joy laced with vulnerability, hope paired with fear. Seeing a public couple face that vulnerability reminds people of their own lives, their own partners, families, and nights that changed everything. There is also the discomfort of watching privacy collide with public appetite. The reporters at the hospital symbolize a modern problem. When life becomes content, even emergencies risk being mined for clicks. That tension makes viewers protective and emotional. Ultimately, people react because this is a story about love in its most raw form. Love that panics, waits, speaks carefully, and breaks down in relief. Feels real. And real stories travel fast. Beyond the headline drama, there is a quieter theme here that deserves space. The cost of pushing the body too far, especially during pregnancy, and especially under the weight of constant work. The doctor's explanation, fatigue, dehydration, low blood pressure, is not mysterious. It is painfully ordinary. That ordinariness is the warning. Many women carry more than they admit. Schedules, expectations, emotional labor, and the pressure to look fine, even when they're not. This incident brings that hidden strain into the light. It also reframes Yulong's role. His love is not shown through speeches, but through immediate action and restraint. Carrying her to safety, speaking to protect her mental state, staying out of the recovery room because her health comes first. That is a mature kind of care one viewers can learn from. So here is a new positive fan activity to shift the energy from gossip to support. Viewers are invited to share one practical way partners, families, or friends can help pregnant women or exhausted loved ones feel safer. A habit, a boundary, a small daily act. We will highlight thoughtful responses in a follow-up. This turns a frightening moment into a collective reminder. Care is not only emotional, it is also practical, consistent, and shared.